go to the back. Yeah.
I have two questions on the meeting with the Prime Minister, but just briefly on the documents. We have seen online propaganda from adversaries seeking to take advantage from this revelation.
I'm sorry, can you go back a little bit? Who's seeking to take advantage?
We have seen online propaganda from adversaries seeking to take advantage of the revelation of the classified documents. I wonder if you can share with us whether the administration is anticipating any kind of national security implications from this fallout. Are you hearing any kind of intelligence, and are you doing anything to deter those threats?
Again, I'm just not going to talk about any intelligence from here. I would certainly, anything that's related to this, I would refer you to the Department of Justice and also refer you to my colleagues at the White House Counsel. I'm just not going to go into anything, especially national security affairs, and so I would refer you to them.
I probably follow up with your National Security Council friends. Okay,
That'd be great.
On the meeting, I know we're waiting for a readout, but if you can tell us whether the leaders spoke about semiconductors and whether Japan confirmed that it will enact export controls to limit Chinese access to semiconductors, and whether the Prime Minister again urged President Biden, as he has done so many times, if he would be open to joining CPTPP.
So on CPTPP, this is not an option we're exploring. I think we've said that before. We're focused on the IPEF, as you know, the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, negotiations and deepening our economic ties with those 13 partners, many of which are TPP partners. So that is going to be our focus. That has not changed. As it relates, again, I don't want to get ahead of the conversation. They're currently still having a dialogue. The bilat is still occurring, but I expect they will discuss China, Russia's war against Ukraine, and the DPRK's unlawful nuclear and missile programs, and the leaders will focus on what they can get done together in 2023. Japan holds in the G7 presidency and has just taken a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council, while we're hosting the APEC and seeking to make shift progress on the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. Prime Minister Kishida arrived at the White House, as you all know. I believe my colleague laid out what came out of that 2+2 after consulting closely with us and regional partners in Europe, and I expect the President and the Prime Minister Kishida will debrief on those consultations. Again, don't want to get ahead of, we're going to have a readout for you. They're having this conversation currently, and so once we have the readout this afternoon, we certainly will share that.
If I can just dig a little bit deeper on IPEF, Karine, because we really haven't heard much about this framework since it was launched last year. So at this point, it seems like the administration still believes that this is the best offer that the U.S. can give to counter Chinese trade clout. Am I understanding this correctly?
Let me so as you said, it was announced in Tokyo just this past May, and Japan was a critical partner, as you know, in helping us to build support, particularly among Southeast Asian countries. So that is important. Again, Japan has been a critical partner in this. IPEF partners represent 40% of the world GDP, and we are united in our belief that much of our success in coming decades will depend on how well governments harness innovation. So that is part of it, right? We got to see how this works through, especially the transformations afoot in the clean energy, digital technology sectors, while fortifying our economies against a range of threats, from fragile supply chains to corruption to tax havens. So again, with Japan's partnerships and leadership in the negotiations, we expect to achieve high standard commitments that will deepen our economic engagement in the region and make good progress in text-based negotiations this year. So this is a partnership that is incredibly important. Japan played a very big role in it. When you think about it represents the 40% of the world GDP. And so, look, this is, again, an important partnership. This is a framework that we are incredibly committed to, and we appreciate Japan's partnership in this.